Hey guys, welcome to Blindsided. I'm Matt, this is Mark, and we're talking Survivor Blood vs. Water episode 2. So overall, what were your thoughts on the episode?
I love this episode. Lots of interesting twists and turns to the game that make things really crazy.
I gotta hand it to Jeff and Mark Burnett and the rest of the team over there at Survivor because I really doubted the family twist, but it has, in only 2 episodes, has really paid off and added an entire other level of complexity to this game that's already incredibly complex. Big things, we had the Redemption Island.
The first duel.
The first duel on Redemption Island.
I knew Rupert was in big trouble when he stacked his last little disc on top and it was like teetering all the way off the edge.
Rupert places his aid, but that stack is leaning.
And rather than take the time to adjust it, he could have pulled it back off, you know.
Lifted it,
try it
Reset.
again. He was like, whatever, I'll go for it.
I'll go try.
You don't have a chance. There's no way that thing's gonna stay like that. So we finished the duel. Candace gets to decide who gets the clue to the hidden immunity idol.
All right, Candace, as a reward for winning this duel, you get to decide who gets a clue to the location of a hidden immunity idol.
Not a lot to think about here, Jeff. You know who it's going to.
Giving it to your husband.
My baby.
2 questions for you. 1, what do you think of this new twist? And then, did she make the right call?
1, I like the twist. I always like it when they put decisions in the hands of the players instead of just letting fate decide. It just puts the pressure on the players. I like that better. So yes, I like the twist. And yes, she made the right choice.
I also think it was a great twist. I don't know at this point whether that was a good decision or not. I think it's the only decision she would make or anyone would have made.
The Bro Lions, minus John, kind of came up with an interesting strategy this week.
The person we vote out, that person has a chance to swap. Who has the most likely chance to swap is players that have played the game. Rachel would be the next to go, and Tyson would have a really tough time not switching, and that would make their tribe a lot weaker.
They voted out Rachel in hopes that Tyson will switch next week, therefore weakening the returning players.
They did vote out Rachel, as was predicted by this guy last week. It is a really cool aspect to throw into the game. I like to think of it as like Redemption Island now is kind of like the bench in like, if you're talking about like fantasy football or something, like you have players on Redemption Island that you can like swap back into the game.
So that could be interesting if, Rachel's in there, they present this challenge. It's something Rachel would excel at. So she gets first or second place, stays on Redemption. Next week, Tyson does switch with her. He'd be better at the challenge. Following week, she switches back.
Provided they're allowed to double switch.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Our dear friend Colton is back in full effect.
When I'm angry, I turn into like a raging bitch, and hopefully this camp will erupt into chaos, because if there's one thing I know, I can rule in chaos. You need to calm down, because if you don't, you're gonna be competing in that duel next time.
What he did to Kat was awful. And I do not get what his game is. Colton does not want to win this game. He might think he does, but he doesn't. I think the interesting thing is Colton is so selfish. He is shooting any shot Caleb has. I think Caleb potentially could go all the way to the finals. He's got a good demeanor. He can obviously put up with a lot of crap.
If it weren't for Colton, the guy could really have a good
shot at this game, yeah. Okay, here's something interesting is we've had Colton, Brandon, and Johnny Fairplay. All very polarizing characters in their first season, all brought back a second season and just flopped. Johnny Fairplay, first one out. Brandon lost his shiz last season. Is it even worth bringing these players back for just a little bit of drama?
It's not for the fans. For the fans of the show, we all see right through it. We know it's a ratings ploy or whatever you want to call it. And that's exactly why the producers bring them back. They want that to happen. Russell is the perfect villain. You love to hate him, and then you're also like, man, this guy's so good at the game.
Russell Swan.
Russell.
You know, something that is never good on Survivor is an island romance, and we all saw the beginnings of one this week. Tyson and Eris have started a Survivor fling.
The cuddling was obvious at the fire.
Can I just say,
It was like a multi-level spoon. It was one of these kinds of things. Very tender.
It
very
was so
sweet.
tender. All right, so let's talk about the challenge this week.
Jervis, man, pulled it out. I think he plays a lot of skee ball.
A lot of Chuck E. Cheese
You know.
in his Survivor earnings. No, you don't have to pay me in money for this one. Just pay me in Chuck E. Cheese coupons.
So Jervis, I give you some respect now, okay?
I'm sorry, Jervis. Don't screw it up next week. Okay, all right. Next week at Redemption Island, Rachel joins Candace and Marissa for the duel. Do you think the Bro Line strategy is going to pay off and Tyson's going to swap out? Teased it a little bit. What do you think?
I don't think he's gonna switch. I think the thought is here, it's a 3-person duel. You have 2 and 3 shot, you know, that you're gonna stay. Maybe when it gets down, if it ever gets down to just a 1-on-1 duel, that might be where it's something to think about. But when it's a three-person duel, I think he lets her stay in.
And now it's time for our predictions for next week. Who do you think is going to get their buff burned, and who do you think is going to get their torch snuffed?
For the second week in a row, I'm sticking with Marissa for the buff burn. She will be burning her buff. Colton, I think you're getting snuffed, son. Returning players are gonna go to tribal, and they're just gonna have to cut out the cancer, you know? Matt, buff burn, torch snuff, who's getting it?
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to let it ride. Marissa, you're going to get your buff burned. I know you got something to prove, but I think you're going to come up short. I think that the loved ones are going to be going back to tribal this week, and Sierra is going to be joining the Redemption Island team. Thanks for watching Blindsided, Blood versus Water, episode 2. I'm Matt. This is Mark. Subscribe, like this video, share it with your Survivor friends. We're Survivor fans, making this for Survivor fans. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Hold on to your buffs.
I like that. Hold on to your buffs.